Welcome to CEWT Talk. This broadcast is brought to you by the Continuing Education Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. This podcast is part of our continuing outreach efforts, and the format is conversational. We will be having conversations with businesses, professionals, entrepreneurs, community agencies, and, in all cases, difference makers. Now, let's get started with CEWT Talk. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to CEWT Talk. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Gary Salazar. I'm the Director of Continuing Education and Workforce Training. And joining us today is Lloyd Rich and company. We're going to let them all talk about each other briefly. And Lloyd is the owner of Let's Get Roasted in Idaho Falls. So today we're talking about coffee. It's a subject near to Paul and my heart, and we're looking forward to this conversation. Our format, as we mentioned earlier in the leader, is conversational. We're just going to see where this conversation goes. We have 20 minutes of talking and having a good time with each other, sipping some coffee as we go. But at the end of 20 minutes, it's done. So let's get into this. And by the way, the clock started when I said welcome. All right, Lloyd, welcome to CEWT Talk. Can you introduce yourself? And then we'll go to Tanner, and then we'll go to Randy.
Hello, my name is Lloyd Rich, and I'm the founder of Let's Get Roasted Coffee Company.
Awesome. How about you, Tanner?
Yeah, my name's Tanner Wade, and I am one of the new co-founders of Let's Get Roasted.
A new co-founder. Awesome. Randy?
Yep, and Randy Campbell, also new co-founder with Let's Get Roasted.
Hey, very nice to have you gentlemen on. And I don't want to leave out Sammy. Sammy Rich is joining us. Sammy's been part of our team for quite a while doing other things. She's still here, but Sammy has a very special relationship with this company. Sammy, this is your dad. And,
sure is.
You are the one who introduced Paul and me to the coffee. So glad to have you here in the audience and possibly throwing in some questions.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, okay guys, well, let's get started with this thing. Lloyd, let's begin with what's obvious. You know, what is Let's Get Roasted and how did you all get started?
Well, Let's Get Roasted obviously is a coffee roasting business, and I got started in roasting coffee back in probably 2015. I used to be an avid Folgers drinker and U-Band drinker, and I was in the food service industry, and one of my purveyors came in and he said, "What are you drinking there? That stuff looks nasty." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He says, "You want to try some real coffee, you need to try some specialty coffee." And so I said, "Well, sure, bring me some." So he brought me a sample of specialty coffee, and that got me going, that got me hooked. And a few months later, he came back and I said, "This stuff is really good." I said, "I'd sure like to learn how to roast this." And he said, "I just happen to have a small roaster. I'll loan you." And so he loaned me a little 3-ounce roaster.
Oh.
And 3-ounce roaster, and hooked me up with some green coffee beans, and I went home and I started burning beans. I thought you had to roast them to they were black and oily, and I'd take them to my wife and I'd say, "What do you think about these beans, honey?" And she says, "I think they're burned." I thought it was the best thing in the world. And
so that was your first cup of espresso?
That was my first cup of homemade espresso.
So Lloyd, you're self-taught then?
Yes, everything in this business I've taught myself. Just trial and error. A lot of time on the internet, reading and discovering, and yeah, it's just been a beautiful journey.
Oh,
Nice.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Let's give the other guys a little bit of a role in this thing too. So your role is you are the owner, the first owner, and now you got this business started. Now you have a co-owner. You've brought in a couple other people. You're growing, obviously. So maybe a little bit about. Are you the jack of all coffee? You're doing everything, and you needed help, and so now we have Tanner, and now we have Randy.
Well, let me back that up again. We specialize in just good quality air roasted coffee. And that's the other angle that we need to address is we're not like every other roaster out there. We roast our coffee on a fluid bed air roaster. And yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah, let's introduce Randy and Tanner. Kind of lost my
Okay. All right, Tanner, let's talk about what your role is with the company.
Sure. So just to kind of also to carry on with what you were saying earlier, the way that this kind of all worked is that my dad, so Randy's actually my father.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
It's me and my dad and Lloyd. They met through a networking group, and my dad bought some coffee from Lloyd and took it home and drank it and told me about it. And ever since the first sip, we've kind of been hooked. We called him back right away, put in a big old order, been buying from him ever since, slowly talking. And, you know, him and my dad became good friends and introduced him to the roasting. Kind of Lloyd showed us around how he did his stuff. And then, you know, through talking and conversation, we realized that we all have, you know, a passion, and Lloyd wanted to, you know, grow this thing and get a little bit of help doing it. So we were happy to kind of partner up and see where we could take it. And my role in this so far has been branding, you know, digital marketing, that kind of stuff. That's what I do full time. I run my own digital marketing companies.
Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you. And then Randy, Dad, this is really a family of business here. I can see this right now. Randy,
Yeah.
and are you also on the marketing side then?
Oh, no. So, yeah, Tanner's got his own marketing business, right?
Right.
First there. And so he's definitely heading up those efforts. Kind of like what we're talking about, you know, back up a little further than that. Tanner and I were actually in the very early stages of researching and figuring out how to enter into this coffee business. And then right in that same timing, right, we met Lloyd, and this thing just kind of snowballed from there to where it's at. As far as main duties at this point, certainly becoming a master roaster, and taking the reins there, and then just outbound sales. So.
Excellent. Well, that sounds like good growth. Sounds like a great operation. You all get along really well. Good communication here. One more element, and Sammy, you know, what is your role in this company? I mean, are you the chief overseer, or the hey, I'm the question maker? What do you do?
I'm the person behind everything. I'm the just kidding. I've helped with writing some of this stuff, like on the packaging. I've helped edit that. We're in the process of having me write some articles for them about coffee as well. So that's pretty cool.
Excellent.
And taster,
Excellent.
right?
Oh yes, that's my main job. I'm the taste tester.
So obviously you all have a passion for coffee. And I think, you know, there's people that do have that passion. I always equate the passion for coffee is the ongoing pursuit to find a cup of coffee that tastes like the smell of coffee, if you know what I mean.
Right. Oh yeah, we know what you mean.
Yeah, because we all have that smell, and it's the most wonderful thing in the morning. And I've only had ever one cup in my entire life that tasted like coffee smelled, and I've always been in pursuit of it again.
Well, we'll need to get you a bag.
I can say
I would take a bag.
his coffee gets really close, like pretty much right there.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, this is really cool, but I want to go back to, you've got something unique. You said you air roast, some kind of a fluid-based machine. Could you describe that?
Just let me explain that. So traditional roasters use drums to roast their coffee, and they're heated by gas. And so the coffee is either the gas passes through the coffee to heat up the coffee, or the drum gets really hot and the coffee is roasted on the surface of the drum itself. And with the system we use, we just put, basically what we're using is an oversized popcorn popper. And so we just have hot air which flows through our coffee, and that's the method we use to roast our coffee. And it's called a fluid bed air roaster. Specifically, we're using the Artisan 3E. It's a startup roaster from a company out of Post Falls, Idaho. And so we're really an Idaho-based company.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And so what's nice about the coffee and what makes our coffee unique is when we roast the coffee itself, the coffee bean itself has an outer skin called the chaff.
Shave. Yeah, I was just going to ask you, how do you separate the chaff if it's not a drum roaster?
Right. And so when we roast the coffee, it blows out the top and it goes in through a chimney. And then we have a collector and we collect all that. And so you blow hot air through it, and then all the chaff comes off and it goes into the collection bin. And so it takes it all away. It's gone. And so you don't have that in there on the drum roasting. And, the drum roaster process, from my experience, is quite messy. And the way we roast it, it's nice and clean. And, it's just amazing. I wish we could show you a picture of our roasting system. And maybe in the future, it'll be out there. But
So
yeah, that's good. So Paul, aren't there oils? Don't coffees have oils?
Well, the thing is, when you roast the coffee, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, when you roast the coffee, that the oils are probably almost non-existent. As it rests after the roasting process, that oil comes to the surface. If I remember correctly, or really like fresh coffee isn't as good as like coffee that's been sitting for a little while and those oils start rising to the surface. Is that correct?
yeah, what our rule of thumb is about 12 hours. After it rests for about 12 hours, it hits its peak flavor. But the beautiful thing about our coffee system is we can roast it, we can grind it, and we can brew it immediately. A traditional gas roasted coffee has to sit in off gas for a minimum of 12 hours, or it's toxic.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah. All right. So you got to, if somebody wants to order coffee from you, I mean, and I guess they have to select what kind they want. You can very quickly process that order and then get that sent to them, or they can stop by and pick it up. I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, so with Tanner's help here, we build an online ordering database, and people can go in and shop our coffee. They can see the origins of the coffee. They can see where the coffee comes from, where it's grown, who grows it, the type of bean it is, and then they can order that coffee. And immediately we get a notification that they've ordered coffee. And we typically roast on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so we just collect our orders between those time periods. And yeah, we get the orders, we roast the coffee, and we either deliver it or we ship it out via mail.
Nice.
That is neat. That is very neat. So while we're on this, you have a website that people have to order through. Can we get the name of that website?
Sure. Go ahead, Tanner.
Yeah, it's lgrcoffee.com.
Let's get
LGR
roasted.
Let's get roasted.com. Cool.
So,
Very good.
how long have you been selling online?
Well, I started about December of last year selling online.
Okay.
And I had a website that Sammy helped me get started with, and we built that home system, and it worked to get us going. And but then we went from high school to college with Tanner's website.
Yes, indeed.
And our new website, lgrcoffee.com, is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely.
Excellent. I'm gonna visit it right after we're done here.
Yeah.
So what types of coffees do you? Are you doing like a traditional like light, medium, and dark roast? And what type of beans do you typically try? And are you always experimenting?
We are always experimenting, yes. And so we use Arabica coffee, and I've tried some. I forgot the name of it because I never use it.
The
Robusta?
The Robusta. I tried doing Robusta, and I wasn't too fond of that, so we're just sticking with the Arabica. And yeah, so we get origins from all over the world. South America, Asia. Where else?
Yeah, South America, Asia, Africa.
Africa, right. And so, yeah, we have one company that we work with. We do that so that way we know where our supply chain is. We know who we're working with.
Consistency.
It's consistency, and yeah. So we order the beans. It takes about a week for the beans to show up, and yeah, we take in the orders, process the orders, roast the coffee, and enjoy it.
So, so do you guys have? It sounds like you are. Are you just an online business and you don't have a retail location?
Not yet.
Okay.
We are working. However, we decided to not put the cart before the horse. And oftentimes you see business models start up and they spend a whole lot of money trying to get up and going. And about 6 months later, you don't see them anymore. And our goal is to be around. And so we figured we'd start our business model with the online, get the online up and going, and then we can use what we generate from the online to expand out into a brick and mortar setup.
Have you been able to sell to local retailers to resell your coffees?
Not yet. There's a license that is required to sell wholesale, if you will. And we've been in contact with the health department. There's some criteria that needs to be filled. We need to fulfill before we can get to that stage. But we're
working on it.
We're working on that. We're licensed through the Idaho Food Cottage program.
Okay.
Which means that we can sell face to face. We can sell on the internet, and it's kind of limited. So yes, we're really working toward getting the business to business model set up.
Excellent, excellent.
Very cool. I got a couple questions here just about the business and the learning that you've gone through. I mean, you've obviously started a good startup here, and you're moving forward. But what kind of challenges were the main ones that you had to face? If somebody else wanted to do a small business like yours, what kind of lessons learned would you want to pass on?
Lesson learned is lessons learned.
I'll say that shipping right now is our biggest,
right?
Probably one of our biggest battles.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane, the costs, to ship a pound of coffee. We sell our product from anywhere from $8.99 to $13.99, and shipping, to say California from Idaho has cost us anywhere upwards of $11, $12, $13. So
wow.
We're really trying to work with, all of the different logistics companies and figure out a way that we can, ship coffee and preferably offer free shipping. But that's been our biggest battle as of recent. So I just
Well, yeah, because I would imagine that's quite a deterrent when someone wants to buy coffee and it nearly doubles the cost to have it shipped with them. But I understand right now in current environment, shipping is becoming quite an issue.
It is.
It
Yeah.
is indeed. It is indeed.
And that was something we didn't even think about at the start. At least personally, I didn't think about it. There was a whole bunch of other stuff on my list that I thought were going to be challenging. And then when we got to that stage, it was like, wait a second. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Always expect the unexpected.
Right.
Yeah. I don't see them as challenges. I see them as opportunities for growth. Yeah, there's been a lot of snags in this whole process, but every snag is an opportunity to learn something new. And so every day we learn something new.
I have one burning question here.
Let it out.
Why the Ram?
Well, back in 1800 or 800 BC, Cowley the goat herder came upon a mountain to see his goats wildly and feverishly dancing around. And he noticed they were eating cherries off this tree. So he joined in and he started eating cherries as the folklore goes. And that's when coffee was discovered. And so the first animal that discovered coffee was the ram. So
That is amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
That should go in your marketing materials if you don't already have it, man. That's
Well,
all.
it's on the shirt. It's on the shirt. Oh my word! That I love that because it does beg a question why, and then just for that answer is like going, oh, that makes total sense now.
You know, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you all, they had questions or they wanted to order, what is the best way? Is it to go through your website, or is there a phone number you'd like to get out there?
Actually, I would say right through our website. All of our information is listed right on our website, and so
Okay.
And do you
All
guys
right.
also have a Facebook page?
We do.
We do.
Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram, they can message us through there.
Excellent,
If you
excellent,
don't got
excellent.
emails, they can email info@lgrcoffee.com for any inquiries.
yes.
What is your best seller that you brew that you roast?
This month it's been the Costa Rican
Ooh, that's good.
coffee process coffee.
Okay, all right.
Good.
Why this month? Does it kind of always mix up and you don't know which is going to be the best seller, or is that something new that you're trying and people just go, hey, let's try that?
Oh, geez, I'm sorry, man. Can you hear that timer going off? Oh, we are done. Hey, Tanner, you know.
Say it again.
That's it. That's how it goes. Did you want to let him finish that answer, Paul? I mean,
Yeah,
like,
please.
pretty good.
I'm curious.
Remind me of the question again. I apologize.
So, is that always the best seller, or does it fluctuate with coming out with a new roast flavor? How does that usually work?
Yeah, I think time of year has a lot to do with it. Also, you know, we really are putting a lot of effort into our online presence as of recently, and so now we're able to track things better, and that's just kind of been the way that it's fallen.
Okay.
You know, our Guatemala roast is also another popular one, as well as our USDA organic Colombian roast.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that's
If
cool.
I may add one thing, he
What do you
also they've been exploring with different types of blends, and my favorite one as of late has been the Leaded Joe Jolts. It is so caffeinated and it is fantastic.
Exactly what you need for a lot of our students at ISU.
Oh yes.
Oh, man. Hey, this is great. Thank you all for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up here. You all stay with us for a second here while I go through this. I want to say thank you to Lloyd Rich and Let's Get Roasted, Tanner, Randy, and of course, Sammy. Thank you for joining Paul and myself on our Sweet Talk. This has been a pleasure. We've learned a few things, and I really appreciate that. Hope the audience out there has had a chance to learn something new about coffee, the business of coffee, the taste of coffee. And if you have any questions, this is a local company here in Idaho, and they're up in Idaho Falls, but they do a business through the online venue. So it's LGRcoffee.com. Was that correct? LGRcoffee.com. Encourage you to go there. Paul and I have tasted some of this coffee. It's just awesome. They have their own new process for this, and encourage everybody to give it a shot. We are Sweet, and you can find us at cetrain.isu.edu. Let us know if there's something that you see that you like, and if there's something you want us to cover. We always appreciate the feedback. This has been a wonderful podcast. Thanks again to Let's Get Roasted. Thanks to everybody for joining us. And
Sammy.
we are done. All right.
Yep.
All right.
Awesome.